They think their laughter is a cage. They forged the bars with their scorn and locked the door with their doubt. But they made a fatal, glorious mistake. They gave you the key. That moment, that echo of mockery in a silent room, the dismissive smirk, the condescending pat on the shoulder, it's not just an insult. It's a crossroads. It's a poison presented to you in a golden cup. You can drink it, let it seep into your soul, and die a slow, bitter death of mediocrity and resentment. Or you can learn the alchemy of the Stoics. You can learn to transmute that poison into the very elixir of your power. This is the outcast's oath. This is for the one who was told they weren't enough, for the one whose dreams were met with ridicule, for the one who stood alone while the crowd pointed and laughed. Their judgment was a sentence they tried to impose upon you. But today, you become the judge, the jury, and the architect of your own liberation. A Stoic's revenge is not loud. It is not petty. It is not about proving them wrong. That is a game played on their level, a trap of the ego. A Stoic's revenge is silent, devastating, and absolute. It is to become so completely and utterly unrecognizable in your excellence, so unshakable in your inner peace, so powerful in your purpose, that their past laughter becomes nothing more than the forgotten hiss of a dying ember. It is to rise to a height from which their voices can no longer reach you. Today we will not just talk about rising. We will forge the oath that makes it inevitable. We will dissect the anatomy of the wound they gave you, and then we will build, piece by piece, the unbreachable fortress of your mind. We will outline the vows you must take, not to a god or a creed, but to yourself. This is the path to turn their mockery into your motivation, their doubt into your discipline. This is the blueprint for a radical transformation. Their laughter was the catalyst. Your rise is the consequence. Let us begin with the wound. You have to understand the nature of the weapon they used against you. The laughter, the scorn, it isn't the real weapon. The real weapon is the echo it creates inside your own mind. They plant a seed of doubt, but you are the one who waters it with your overthinking. They offer a single piece of evidence that you are not good enough, and your inner critic, the self-sabotaging prosecutor in your own mental court, builds an entire case against you, using years of your own insecurities as evidence. This is the first stage of the mental warfare you didn't know you were in. Their casual cruelty activates your own internal enemy. You replay the moment over and over. You dissect their words, their tone, the look in their eyes. You start to believe them. You start to see yourself through their distorted lens. This is how mediocrity is born. It is self-doubt fertilized by external opinion. Imagine a young architect, Alara. In a city of stone and tradition, she dreams of structures made of light and living wood, buildings that breathe with the seasons. She spends years in solitude, perfecting her designs, pouring her soul onto parchment. The day she presents her life's work to the city's council of master builders, she is met not with critique but with derision. They laugh. They call her designs a child's fantasy, an insult to the craft. One elder taps his stone hammer on her delicate models, shattering a miniature spire. "Stick to what you know, girl," he scoffs, "or you'll build nothing but ruins." Alara flees the council hall, the sound of their laughter chasing her down the marble corridors. For weeks, that sound is all she hears. When she sleeps, she dreams of her beautiful structures collapsing into dust. When she looks at her own hands, she sees the hands of a failure. The poison is working. She begins to believe their verdict. She puts her revolutionary designs away and for a time considers taking a simple, safe job drafting the same boring stone boxes they've built for centuries. The world almost lost her genius, not because of what the council said, but because she was on the verge of accepting it as truth. This is the state of the outcast. It is a state of internal exile, where you have banished yourself from your own potential because you believed the judgment of others. But then one night something shifts. The pain becomes so immense, so suffocating, that it can no longer be contained. It must either break her, or it must be forged into something new. This is the moment the oath is born. It is a silent declaration made in the darkest hour. It is the decision to stop being a victim of circumstance and become the master of your response. It is the moment you stop drinking the poison and start analyzing its composition so you can create the antidote. The outcast's oath is composed of 4 sacred vows. These are not platitudes. They are a battle plan for your mental and spiritual warfare. They are the laws by which you will govern your inner world so you can conquer the outer one. Let us forge them now. Vow 1. The vow of indifference. The first vow you must take is this: my mind is my sovereign territory. I will relentlessly patrol its borders. I will control my judgments, my responses, and my actions, for they are mine alone. All else, the opinions, the laughter, the praise, the scorn of others, is external and therefore irrelevant noise. It is weather. I am the mountain. This is the Stoic dichotomy of control in its most militant form. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "If you are distressed by anything external, the pain is not due to the thing itself, but to your estimate of it. And this you have the power to revoke at any moment." They laughed, that is a fact. It is a thing that happened in the external world. It is sound waves vibrating in the air. That is all it is. The story you tell yourself about the laughter is what causes the suffering. The story that says, "They are right, I am a fool, I will never succeed, my ideas are worthless." This story is your creation, and what you create you can uncreate. The vow of indifference is not about becoming a cold, unfeeling robot. It's about becoming a surgeon of the mind. It's about learning to precisely separate the external event from your internal judgment. Let's return to Elara the architect. In her despair, she stumbles upon an old text of Stoic philosophy. She reads about this separation of event and judgment. The next morning, she takes out a clean sheet of parchment. On one side, she writes what happened. On the other, the story I told myself. Under what happened, she writes, the council members audibly laughed. Elder Thuron broke a model. He told me to stick to what I know. These are plain, observable facts. Under the story I told myself, she writes, this means I am a complete failure. My dreams are impossible. I have no talent. I am an embarrassment. Elder Thuron is the voice of truth, and he has declared me worthless. I will never be a real architect. Staring at the 2 columns, she sees it for the first time. The chasm between reality and her interpretation of it. The facts were a small, sharp stone. Her story was the avalanche it triggered. This is your first actionable step. Create this ledger, the journal of judgments. Every time you feel the sting of anxiety, shame, or anger from an external event, perform this surgery. Write down what actually, factually happened. A person said these specific words. This specific outcome occurred. Then, on the other side, write down the narrative of suffering you have woven around it. By simply seeing them separated, you begin to reclaim your power. You see that your suffering is not an inevitable consequence, but a chosen response. To live the vow of indifference, you must become a fierce guardian of your focus. Their laughter is a distraction. Their doubt is a distraction. Even their future praise will be a distraction. Your mission is your work, your character, your principles. When their noise reaches your ears, you do not engage. You do not argue. You do not seek to correct them. You simply label it external, not mine, not relevant to the task at hand. And you return your focus to laying the next brick of your empire. The consequence of ignoring this vow is a life of frantic reaction. You will live like a puppet, your emotions pulled by the strings of anyone who happens to offer an opinion. Your energy will be squandered trying to manage their perceptions of you, an impossible and soul-crushing task. The outcome of mastering this vow is freedom, true, profound freedom. It is the quiet power of knowing that no matter what storm rages outside, the core of you is untouchable. This is the foundation of the inner citadel you are about to build. This is how you begin to rise. Vow 2, the vow of a different fire. The second vow is the alchemy of your revenge. I will not seek to extinguish their fire with my own rage. I will harness the heat of their scorn and use it to fuel a different kind of fire, a cold, blue, disciplined flame of creation. My revenge will not be their defeat, but my own ascension. I will build, not destroy. My success will be the only argument I ever make. The common, weak response to being mocked is to fantasize about revenge. You dream of the day you can stand over them and say, "I told you so." You imagine their faces contorted in regret. This is a trap. This desire, this obsession with proving them wrong, still keeps you chained to them. Your motivation is still centered around them. You are still letting them define the terms of your life. The Stoic outcast understands that true power lies in shifting the source of your motivation from the external to the internal. Yes, you will use their laughter, but you will use it like a blacksmith uses coal. You are not interested in the coal itself. You are interested in the fire it can create to shape steel. Their scorn is the raw, dirty fuel. Your ambition, your purpose, your self-mastery, that is the steel you are forging. Back to Ilara. After separating fact from fiction, she feels a new emotion bubble up, replacing the despair. Anger. A hot, red, burning anger. She wants to storm back to the council and smash their models. She wants to see Elder Thuron humiliated. But as she clutches the old Stoic text, she realizes this path leads to ruin. It is a fire that will consume her before it ever touches them. So, she takes the vow of a different fire. She goes not to the council hall, but to a derelict workshop on the forgotten edge of the city. She takes the burning energy of her rage, and instead of screaming, she channels it into the swing of a hammer. Instead of arguing, she channels it into hours of meticulous calculation. Every time the memory of their laughter surfaces, she doesn't push it away. She greets it like an old friend and says, "Thank you for the energy." Then she channels that spike of adrenaline into another hour of work. 30 more minutes of sketching, 10 more practice joints. This is your second actionable step. The fuel conversion ritual. Define right now a specific, productive, physical or mental action that you will link to the feeling of being wronged. It could be 50 push-ups. It could be running a mile. It could be 30 minutes of deep, uninterrupted work on your most important project. The moment you feel that hot flush of anger, shame, or resentment, you do not analyze it. You do not wallow in it. You immediately and without hesitation execute your predefined action. You are reprogramming your nervous system. You are teaching your body and mind that the stimulus of being mocked no longer leads to the response of suffering, but to the response of productive action. You are turning their poison into your personal, performance-enhancing drug. The consequence of seeking conventional revenge is that even if you win, you lose. You become bitter, obsessed, and your character is eroded by the poison of hatred. You might get your "I told you so" moment, but you'll be a lesser man for it, and the victory will feel hollow. The outcome of mastering the vow of a different fire is that you become unstoppable. Your work ethic becomes legendary because it is fueled by a source your competitors cannot comprehend. They are fueled by coffee and ambition. You are fueled by every insult, every doubt, every dismissal you have ever faced. You are not just building a business, a skill, or a physique. You are building a monument out of the stones they threw at you. Their attempt to bury you becomes the very foundation of the skyscraper you build. Vow 3. The vow of the inner citadel. The third vow is your defense system. I will build a fortress within my mind, brick by brick, through daily practice and preparation. Its walls will be fortified with logic, its watchtowers manned by self-awareness, and its foundations set in the bedrock of my principles. The attacks of the world, the insults, the failures, the misfortunes, will be nothing but arrows shattering against impenetrable stone. I will be safe inside. This is the practice of premeditatio malorum, the premeditation of evils. The Stoic does not hope for the best. He prepares mentally and emotionally for the worst. This isn't pessimism. It's a strategy for invincibility. The average person is shattered by unexpected setbacks because they live in a fragile fantasy world where things are supposed to go well. The Stoic is calm in the face of chaos because he has already visited that chaos in his mind 1,000 times. He has already lived through the failure. He has already heard the laughter. And he has already decided how he will respond with virtue and composure. Ilara, working in her secluded workshop, begins this practice. Every morning before she picks up her tools, she sits in silence for 10 minutes and visualizes the day's potential disasters. What if I run out of the rare luminous wood I need? I will have a plan to find an alternative or work on another part of the project. My progress will not halt. What if a piece of the structure cracks? I will learn from the mistake in the grain, and the next piece will be stronger for it. The error is a teacher. What if Elder Thuron and his cronies discover my workshop and come to mock me again? She visualizes the scene. She hears their laughter, but this time in her mind she does not run. She does not rage. She simply turns, looks them in the eye, nods calmly, and returns to her work. She feels the sting in her visualization and practices letting it go. She feels the urge to defend herself and practices mastering it. She is building the citadel. She is running drills for her soul. When the real event happens, If it ever happens, it will feel like a pale imitation of the battle she has already won in her mind. This is your third actionable step, the daily disaster drill. Every morning, spend 5 minutes actively imagining what could go wrong in your day, not in a way that creates anxiety, but in a way that creates a plan. Think about the three most likely things that could derail you, frustrate you, or hurt you. An unkind email from your boss, a workout you don't feel like doing, the temptation of distraction. For each one, visualize it happening and then rehearse your ideal Stoic response. How will you act with courage, with discipline, with wisdom? You are essentially giving your future self a cheat sheet for dealing with life's difficulties. When adversity strikes, you won't have to think. You will simply execute the plan you've already rehearsed. The consequence of living without an inner citadel is constant anxiety. You are perpetually exposed, vulnerable to every gust of wind, every stray arrow of negativity. Your peace is fragile and dependent on external conditions being perfect, which they never are. The outcome of building your inner citadel is a state of profound mental toughness and tranquility. The Stoics called it apatheia, not apathy, but a state of being undisturbed by passions and irrational fears. You move through the world with a quiet confidence, not because you believe nothing bad will happen, but because you know you are prepared to handle whatever happens. You are no longer a refugee of the world. You are a sovereign in your own mind. Vow 4. The vow of purposeful action. The fourth and final vow is where the rise becomes manifest. I will no longer be a creature of reaction. I will be a force of creation. My every action will be deliberate, a purposeful step towards a vision only I can see. I will waste no energy on what is trivial. I will master my mornings, own my days, and measure my life not in the opinions of others, but in the deeds I have done. My actions will become my argument, and my results will be my verdict. This is the culmination of all the other vows. Indifference clears the mental space. The different fire provides the fuel. The inner citadel protects your focus. Now you must act, not just busyness, not just frantic motion, but deliberate, purposeful, relentless action aligned with your highest purpose. The outcast who remains an outcast is the one who gets lost in philosophy, who revels in their newfound sense of intellectual superiority but never actually builds anything. They talk about Stoicism, but they do not practice it. The Stoic whose revenge is to rise understands that virtue is an action verb. Ilara is now protected, fueled, and free, but her revolutionary buildings will not build themselves. She must now embody the vow of purposeful action. She creates a new code for herself. No work begins until she has clarified her single most important objective for the day. Is it perfecting the load-bearing joint for the main arch? Is it sourcing a new bioluminescent fungus for the interior lighting? She defines it with ruthless clarity. The trivial can wait. The vital comes first. She develops what she calls the ritual of the first light. She wakes before the sun, before the city of stone is stirring, before the ghosts of yesterday's doubts can find her. This sacred time is for deep work. No distractions, no other people, just her vision, and the task at hand. She understands that by conquering the morning, she sets the tone for the entire day. She is not reacting to the day's demands. She is imposing her will upon the day. This is your final, most crucial actionable step. The one brick rule. The vision of who you want to become, unrecognizable, powerful, self-mastered, can be overwhelming. Building a new life is like building a great wall. Don't focus on the wall. Your only job every single day is to lay one single perfect brick. Identify your one brick. What is the one non-negotiable action that, if completed today, moves you tangibly closer to your goal? Is it writing 500 words? Is it a 45-minute high-intensity workout? Is it 1 hour of learning a new high-value skill? Define it. Make it your absolute priority. Do it before you allow the world's distractions and excuses to creep in. Build your day around laying that one brick perfectly. Day after day, brick after brick, the wall will rise. The life will be built. The transformation will occur. The consequence of failing this vow is stagnation. It is the tragedy of all talk, no action. You will have a fortified mind and a powerful engine, but your vehicle will remain parked in the garage. You will become the most stoic, well-adjusted failure in the world. The outcome of mastering the vow of purposeful action is the rise itself. It is the inevitable result of consistent, focused effort compounded over time. People will not see the daily vows, the internal battles, the early mornings, the fuel conversions. They will only see the result. They will see the outcast they once laughed at standing atop an empire they can't comprehend, built with a discipline they can't imagine. Years pass. Ilara's solitary work in the derelict workshop culminates in a single, breathtaking structure. On a forgotten cliffside overlooking the city, she has built her first tower of light and wood. It soars into the sky, not with the arrogant rigidity of stone, but with the organic grace of a great tree. At night, it glows with a soft, internal light, a beacon of impossible beauty. At first, it is a rumor. Then, travelers and merchants see it from afar and speak of it in the city. Finally, the people, and eventually the council members themselves, make the journey to see it. They stand before it in stunned silence. There is no laughter now. There is only awe. They see the impossible joinery, the harmony of form and function, the sheer, undeniable genius of it. Elder Thuron, now old and frail, walks up to the entrance. He runs his hand over the smooth, glowing wood. He does not look at Ilara. He cannot meet her eyes. He is not looking at a person he once mocked. He is looking at a force of nature that has reshaped his reality. He doesn't need to apologize. His silence, his awe, is the only confession that matters. And Ilara, watching from a distance, feels nothing, not triumph, not smug satisfaction, not the sweet taste of revenge she once craved. She feels only a quiet, calm peace. His opinion was irrelevant when it was scornful, and it is irrelevant now that it is admiring. It is external noise. She has her work. She has her principles. She has already moved on, her mind consumed with the designs for her next, even more ambitious project. Her revenge was not in his change of heart. Her revenge was becoming a person who was no longer affected by it. Her rise was so complete that she had ascended beyond their judgment entirely. This is the outcast's oath. It is not a path of ease. It is a path of fire, discipline, and relentless self-confrontation. It is the most difficult work you will ever do. So now you stand at your own crossroads. The echoes of their laughter are still there if you choose to listen. The poison is still in the cup if you choose to drink it. Or you can make a different choice. You can take the vow. You can vow indifference and reclaim the sovereignty of your mind. You can vow a different fire and turn their poison into your power. You can vow the inner citadel and become an unbreakable fortress of one. And you can vow purposeful action and build your new reality, one perfect brick at a time. Their laughter was a moment. Your rise is a lifetime. They thought they were writing your story. Today you take the pen back. The silence is now yours to fill. What will you build in it? Who will you become? Take the oath. The real work begins now. Rise.